and see if I can get any of you guys on there. I also need you to let me know if you can hear the sound well. I'm going to try to invite some people on to see how this works. Haven't done it in a little bit, and I always mess up. So let's see if we can invite some people onto the video. Let's see. Okay, so we just tried to invite a few people on. We are going to try to get everything together and get rocking and rolling. And it might get a little loud because I'm at my buddy's house, and um, we set up a nice office for me a while back, whatever, so I can get some stuff going and get some good internet because I don't get good internet at home. Um, but things have been working out okay. What's up, Belinda? Let me know if you can hear me. Can you hear me well, Belinda? Let me know if you guys can hear this scratchy sound. Can y'all hear this scratchiness from the microphone? Let me know if y'all can hear that. I want you guys to all share this on Facebook, share it on Twitter, share it in all the individual places that we all do business and talk. I'm going to discuss this whole situation. Hey, hey, Tabby. I'm going to discuss this situation that we have now with President Trump. I'm going to talk about what it is that Americans can do now to be free. I do also want to offer wisdom to you guys to help you to see what you have done within this last 4 years. It becomes very easy to get off focused on what Trump has done and what Trump may not do in the future, what Trump can or can't do in the future. Um, the fact of all the things we're seeing on TV, which nobody really knows exactly what's going to happen. Some people say trust the plan and things like that, but nobody really knows exactly what is planned, what's going to happen. So the best thing for us is not to just trust a plan that we have nothing to do with. The best thing for us to do is to take action and to do what we have been doing for the last several years. Let me pray real quick and then we'll get rocking and rolling. Please share this video, get some people on here before I get done praying. Please. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you thanking you for your loving kindness, Father. We come thanking you for being wonderful. We come thanking you for being an amazing Father. We come thanking you for opening all doors, for leading us, for blessing us and keeping us, for giving us hope, giving us direction, Father, for letting us see the blessings that we have seen over the last couple of years, and for the blessings you're going to allow us to see in the future. Father, we ask you that you give us courage, help us to stand, Father, help us to be what we need to be, Father, in your plan, and Father, help us to trust you, believe in you, and to stand in your might and the power of your might. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Okay, so anyway, guys, let me know if you can hear me well. Once again, say hi if you're on here so we know you're here. Um, sorry, guys. Say hi if you're here. Let me know if you're here so I can acknowledge you. If you're a troll, just sit in the corner and do what you normally do. All right. So, is it Leah? Leith? Hello, how are you? Um, Guys, we got a lot of good blessings that we can stand on. We have a lot of good opportunities. We've seen some amazing things. Now, let me let you guys know some of the things that you will have to understand in order to be a good fighter, in order to make it through this situation and be able to stand strong. First of all, I know a lot of people are in fear. Everybody share this on Facebook, Twitter, and everywhere else. A lot of people are in fear. A lot of people are in disgust. A lot of people are in a situation where they don't know who to trust, who to stand with, what's going to happen. A lot of times that'll make you to feel uncertain. And I want to tell you guys, number one, we have to have our faith in God. We don't need to have our faith in any man. Okay? When we put our faith in princes, kings, presidents, whatever, we can end up getting caught in a snare because men can only do as much as they can do until it gets to the point where they run out of their own strength, or they become fearful, or they get weak. And then, if you put your trust in them, not saying that you believe that they can do right, you don't believe that people may be doing the right thing, you don't stand by people who you see doing good things, I'm not saying that. I'm saying don't leave your trust in a man to make things perfect, because a man is a being that can have fears, can have doubts, can get tired. A man can get sick. A man can get hurt. Where God can't get sick, God can't get hurt. He can't get to the point where he's weak and tired and he gives up. That doesn't happen. And so it is better for you to put your hope in God, so that when things go rough or things get a little shady in your eyes, you are standing on somebody's power that is greater than yours, that is a source for power to you, a source for strength, a source for guidance, a source for wisdom, right? So let's talk a little bit about what's happening. So we see that they say Trump has left the White House. Some people say that he's doing it for a military event where he's going to stand up and he's going to be causing the military to go against, um, people like Biden and all of those guys. Is that happening? Maybe, maybe not. They're talking about a plan where people have been telling us about this plan for many years, where they say, trust the plan. Everybody who's good. Well, um, I will say it this way. We got to understand that we were told that there was going to be an arrest of Hillary Clinton. Never happened. We were told, and now, and I'm not trying to be funny. It's possible it still could happen. But for regular people like us, when we see General Flynn get arrested and he's arrested right away, and not General Flynn, um, when we see, well, yeah, General Flynn, when we see Roger Stone, when we see all these other people who are good guys get arrested, they go to jail immediately. You know, they don't get to just keep living their life and enjoying their fun and all that stuff. They get arrested, they're gone. So when I look and I see that, you tell me to trust the plan, and you let the good guys go to jail immediately, but then the bad guys go to jail. Well, no, they haven't been to jail. Not in a way that we can see openly. So it's still a two-tiered system of justice, where the good guys who expose the truth, they go to prison immediately. Then the bad guys who have been doing wrong for a long time, you talk about sealed indictments, and they're just walking around and having fun, still doing the same evil things they do. In the Bible, it tells us that wickedness continues because the judgment is not executed quickly. And so I have a problem when I see people tell me about a plan, and this plan does not involve justice coming quickly, because the wicked people who keep punishing the people and doing wrong, they keep doing it because nobody's correcting them quickly enough. And so, for that reason, I'm not saying there's not a plan, I just don't trust it. Because if we have to not have the type of justice that God tells us to have, then apparently we have not cleaned up enough to make that plan work the way that it needs to work. And then, people told me, trust me, Pence is going to do the right thing and he's going to send it back to the States. Didn't happen. Then people said Pence is part of the plan. He didn't follow the plan. Right? Now, I can laugh in times like this. Why? Because I trust God. I don't give a freak if Pence does right. I don't give a freak if the government officials do right. I don't give a freak, because it is not our job to worry about who's going to do right and who's going to do wrong. It is our job to stand on the truth and to stand on the law and to use what God gives us. So, what did God give us? He gave us forefathers that told us that we were to be free. He gave us forefathers that created constitutions. If we look here in Article 4, Section 4 of the United States Constitution, right? What we'll see is it says the United States shall guarantee every state in this union a republican form of government. Now, the United States, guys, I don't care what people say, the United States, as in District of Columbia, is not a republican form of government. The United States, as in the District of Columbia, is mob rule. The Congress makes every all the statute and legislation for all cases whatsoever within 10 square miles. Now, some people will say, well, David, that I don't agree with that. Um, I don't think that's true. I don't think that's legit. I don't think that's right. Well, everybody can think what they want to think, but I'm not a man that is going to live life just thinking um, what I want to think without any evidence or proof. So when I say something, I like to show you guys what the truth says, right? What the law says. So we look right here. This is Article 1, Section 8 of the United States Constitution. Anybody can deny what I'm saying, but they won't do it with actual Constitution. Right here it says the Congress shall have the power to, right, to exercise exclusive legislation in all cases whatsoever. So they're writing legislation to tell what the outcome is going to be in all the cases over such District of Columbia, not exceeding 10 square miles as may be by session of particular states, and the acceptance of Congress become the seat of government of the United States. So we understand what the seat of government of the United States is, and they made that DC. So DC, District of Columbia, is the seat of government of the United States. The United States is the District of Columbia. And to exercise like authority over all places purchased by the consent of the legislature of the state in which the same shall be for the erection of forts, all right, military stuff, magazines, arsenals, dock yards, and other needful buildings. So these other needful buildings we need to think about, because what's happened is that the district courts, right? The federal district courts in all the states are needful buildings for them. And what has happened is that they got the power to create legislation over 10 square mile areas. Now, the federal are not creating statutes for everybody. Now, some people say, "Well, David, I don't understand that." Well, in the Constitution, we also find that the government or the Congress was able to create legislation, and that legislation that the Congress was able to create allowed them to create legislation over the 10-mile square and other areas that they purchase. Now, we got to be careful, because what happens is that people think that um, that Biden and those guys are running the whole country, and they're not. Okay? They're not writing legislation for everybody. They're writing legislation for those who are in commerce. So I showed you guys that on the video the other day. Here's Article 1, Section 8. All right. So they got the power to regulate commerce with foreign nations and among the several states and with the Indian tribes. Right. So if you're doing interstate commerce, they got the power to regulate that, but they got it by the Constitution, by permission of the people, right? And then another one you're going to see is that they got the power to make rules for the government and regulation of the land and naval forces. So the rules that they made were not for the people of America, they were for the land and naval forces, right? Also, to provide for calling forth the militia to execute the laws of the Union, suppress insurrection, and repel invasions. That's what the Congress has the power to do, right? Now, what we need to understand, guys, is that they do not. Oh, here's another one. To constitute tribunals inferior to the Supreme Court. So they've made a whole bunch of legislative tribunals, right? So when you look at CPS, you look at the Highway Safety Act, you look at child support enforcement, they have tried to gain jurisdiction by simply extending their power over tribunals that are going against the people. Now, why is this important? Trump just put out an executive order talking about how the people have been punished by administrative regulations, and he did an administrative order to stop them from doing that. What did he do? Now, what Trump did was is he set it up so that if we know what it is that they are doing in the legislature, the federal legislature, to oppress the people and to attack them, which they've been doing for years, we can use that executive order to one, show proof that it is happening. Number two, stand on the right law to remove ourselves from the jurisdiction of the federal. Now, a lot of us are concerned about lockdowns. We're concerned about federal programs like the COVID program, federal shots, where they're forcing people to get shots all across the country. My question is, how many of you would like to know actual action steps that you can take to turn this around, to make sure that you can stand in freedom? And I'm going to give you guys some examples of how we already stood in freedom. And it's not because of Trump's power, it is because of what God has allowed us to do as a people by understanding. I'll give you some examples. Um, let's take the whole CPS movement. Any of you guys who have been in the CPS movement for a while, you understand that um, child support, I'm sorry, um, child protective services have been taking kids since 1997 like there's no tomorrow. We have not had any remedy over the last bit of time between 1997 and 2018. 2018, 17, 18, we started seeing a humongous amount of children return because we understood that this was a federal program where they were stealing our children based on fraud. Now, let's just be real about this. It was not Donald Trump that came out and said, give everybody their kids back. It was the people who stood up and said, hey, we realize this is wrong. Now, we took evidence and showed it to um, the Trafficking Council when it met in Arizona, and Lynn Johnson from HHS got to see it. A little bit later, they came out and exposed that they realized CPS and their partners were trafficking, and they asked for whistleblowers. At the same time, there was a counterattack by trolls and fake media to try to slow down the people from doing affidavits and fighting. But since that time, we saw 75 kids plus come back with people who I was directly connected with. And then we also saw, I believe David Straight now is around 1,400 kids that he's seen come back. Okay. So we've gotten ridiculous numbers of kids coming back home, and it was not that we used Donald Trump to do it for us. So I want us to focus on the power that we have. No matter what happens on either side, if Donald Trump is still going to be coming back into office in March, like they say, or something's going to happen where he'll be dealing with America as the nation and not as a corporate entity. We know that DC is a federal corporation. If you don't believe me, look up 28 USC 300215A. You'll see that it says the United States is a federal corporation. You'll see where any instrumentality of the United States is also called the United States. So if they create a corporation or a commission or something as an agency, or an agency to deal with CPS or child support enforcement, it's all the same. But guys, under Title 8, we do have the power to separate ourselves from the federal corporation and show that we are not bound to it, show that we are not under its jurisdiction. If you ever read the 14th Amendment, you'll understand that it is a way to naturalize everybody and put them under a foreign corporation. Now, when you look at your state constitutions, and somebody let me know if this is making sense to you. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you wish for me to continue, because I haven't seen any responses in the last couple of seconds. Oh wait, I didn't scroll down, or they didn't scroll down. It doesn't read a Republican government. It reads a Republican form of government. That's what I said. Uh, No, actually, it said Republican form of government. And Republican form of government is not dictatorship. So it makes perfect sense. Um, yep, Clause 17, Section 8. Okay, perfect. I can see you guys. Hey, hey. Okay, so guys, what we got to understand is that we have had a lot of remedy. A lot of us have gotten children back. A lot of people. I'm going to give it praise out to Frankie in Arizona. She got her beautiful little twins back. I got to meet them and see them, and they gave me joy at one of the meetings when they were talking to me. So we are seeing real people have justice. And so that's what's important. The government officials many times will want for us to believe that everything is dead and over if one man is not in office or if things slow down for him is not really a situation that we need to worry about. What we need to be concerned about is what we do and us understanding the actual real law. So I'm going to give you guys another one. Here's the 14th Amendment. And I want you guys to catch this because they are doing some things that are a little slick, and I'm going to give you guys the video. Um, when you look at like the Mariana Islands and all the trust property of the United States, you're going to find that they lock them into a trust, and that's how they block them from being truly free. If you look at like the Native American nations, sovereign nations, look at the information in their charters, and a lot of times you're going to find that it says that they're under the 14th Amendment still. Now, that 14th Amendment is going to be a way to naturalize anybody into the federal corporation. And I'm going to show it to you. So, when you look at your state constitutions, which are broad and powerful, right? The federal constitution is narrow, it is limited, their powers are narrow. They got power to do a couple of things. They want you to believe that they're the all knowing, all powerful, they give the permission for anything, and that's not the case, right? Your state constitutions give you so much freedom, not give you, acknowledges so much freedom and power. It's unbelievable, and that's what we've used to get the kids home. But I'm going to show you guys. So here's the 14th Amendment, right? And I'm going to read to you guys from section 1, and I want you to notice something really, really intently. You watch. So, all persons born, right? Can y'all see that? Let me see. All persons born in the United States, and the United States is actually the District of Columbia, and subject. We got to pay very close attention to this. All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. Now, what we got to understand is that when we look at our state constitutions, which show that we have all authority, when you read them, it'll say all political power is inherent in the people. And governments derive their just power from the consent of the governed and are created to maintain and protect individual rights. Okay? So the whole purpose of the federal constitution is to limit the powers of those who have been put in place to provide services for us in the federal government, right? So we limit their powers and their strengths, right? And we tell them what it is that they can do for us, and we didn't give them any other powers. Now, they have tried to trick us into believing that they have all power. Now, we can actually, based on Title 8, we can repudiate, remove ourselves from the jurisdiction or presumed jurisdiction of the United States corporate entity which is trying to rule. And we can move and do the things we need to do and not be bound by those federal programs and all those different things, which allows us to be able to stand in a different place. I've seen instances where the state constitution are written to override your United States constitutional rights, such as right to due process, declare national emergency. Oh, that's easy. So here it is, Randy. What we got to look at is um, the state constitutions, right? For instance, I'll give you guys examples. Somebody go grab the Bills of Rights from Texas. I think it's 27, 28, or 29, maybe 30. Look up the one that says the government is accepted from the Bill of Rights. So what happens is that some people might try to write some trickery, right? They might try to change the Bill of Rights or Declaration of Rights to make it more beneficial to what they want to do. But the problem is once you remove yourself from a status that's connected to the District of Columbia, then you can stand on your rights as one of the people. Now, remember this, Randy, this is super important. The Constitution gives you no rights. The constitutions give you no rights. Your rights are already established and came from God. Because your rights are already established and come from God, you have many rights, even more than what you can enumerate in a constitution. So when you look at your state constitution, all it does is give them, the government officials, notice of what some of your rights are in the Bills of Rights and the Declarations of Rights. And this is awesome. If you look at like later on in many of your constitutions, it's going to say, to I'm going to paraphrase, hey, don't try to look at the fact that I didn't enumerate one of my rights inside of this document because I also have other rights that I have not declared, but they're mine too. Right? So the thing is that we have Justin Vega, love you, big bro. Um, and that's the thing is that we got to understand that our rights come from God, right? So this is why two things are attacked in America: the Bible and the law. So if you look, the Jesuits run most of the law schools. The Jesuits also in 1881 used Carlo Martini to take over the Bible colleges by implementing texts that came from an Egyptian set of manuscripts that could be used to easily change what the meanings are in the Bible. So then they created thesauruses, Bible dictionaries, and different literary works, which I know you know this, Justin, but I'm just hitting on it because I know you would tell me, David, are you telling everybody else? Right? I know you would say, I don't know if everybody else is getting it, Dave, so make sure you tell it. So I'm going to tell it. So the thing is that the Jesuits created literary works to make people believe that things meant something other than what it meant in the text that we always used. They couldn't attack the Bible directly because too many people understood what the Bible said in the old text, that's Antiochian text and stuff like that. And so when we get to the point where we start allowing people to use these doctrines, right, that are doctrines of men to command us to do something different, this is how we get in trouble. And so when we look at the law, notice what Scalia said. Scalia said, and I'll make this video for you guys for you to see. Scalia said, listen, when you come to this doctrine of delegated authority, I really don't even want to hear what you're saying because that's not a real thing. So Scalia, if y'all remember, Lynn Wood posted some stuff about how they wanted to kill Scalia, which they did, from what he says. And Scalia was calling out the fact that they were creating something called doctrines to judge outside of the Constitution what the Constitution meant. That's a slick trick of the Jesuits. John Roberts, I believe, was involved with that. He tries to use that slick stuff. A lot of the people in the Supreme Court in history, they want to talk about doctrines. Let's use this doctrine. Let's use the parents patriae doctrine. Parents patriae doctrine is nowhere in the Constitution. Therefore, it should not be used to make an argument over what is constitutional or not. What is constitutional? What's constitutional is in every state, parents have a liberty interest, like Sandra Day O'Connor said, over their children. And if parents have a liberty interest, nobody can take it away. And if nobody can take that liberty interest away, there is no government official, court, or any worker hired in the government or agent hired by corporate entities to be able to exercise power over a mother or father to take their children. So Sandra Day O'Connor told that truth. Scalia came out and exposed, and I'll get the video for you guys. But this is that administrative state, that administrative law that they're trying to use against us to remove our authority based on the Constitution. So they want to bypass our rights as declared in the Constitution. Not our rights as given in the Constitution, but declared. We declared what our rights are and told them about some of them and said, if you want to work for us in government, you cannot infringe upon these. This is what we have to focus on when it comes to being free anywhere in America. If you want to be free anywhere in America, don't make the argument, well, I don't think it's fair that you do this to me. I don't think that I want to follow this uh, uh, COVID stuff. I don't, the scientific numbers don't match. Listen, all we got to do is stand on the state constitutions where it says that we have the power to be free. We have the power to be independent. Independent of what? The government and everything else. Like if you just look at what God does, God, the supreme being and creator of all things, does not force you to be with him. God gives you the choice and consent to be with him or not. He lets you know, if you're not with me, there are consequences. You're going to perish if you're not with me, but I am not going to force you to be with me. As a matter of fact, I'll let you live your life and do wrong. You'll have consequences, but you don't have to be with me. I love you. I want you to be with me, but God does not force you to be part of his government. So then, in the same way, we created government, and people are trying to deceive you and get you to believe that when the common law came from the Bible and God did not force people to be part of his government, how in the world can Biden or anybody else force you to be part of their government? How can this is what this Republican form of government is about? Republican form of government, in no republic anywhere are people allowed to vote your individual rights away. And this is the deception and the trick that they want you to believe. They want you to believe, oh shucks, if President Biden comes in and Trump isn't here, you guys are bleeped, right? I keep hearing people say they are effed if Trump is out of office. They are effed if we don't have him. They are effed if Biden and them are mad at us. Cut that bull crap out. You are not screwed if there's no Trump. You are not screwed if anybody is in office at any time. You're screwed if you don't stand on what God showed you is your rights. If you don't talk about what God has showed you as your rights, of course you are screwed because the law says if a man does not stand on his rights or use them, he has none. And that's just obvious. If somebody is taking your car and you don't say, hey, hold on, this is my car, then you're going to have a problem. If somebody is raping you and you say, hey, you're raping me, I don't want this, then apparently they're going to believe that it's okay. Right? So the thing is that when you want to stand against evil, you have to stand up and say something. And we have to use what God has given us. So what I'm going to do first is just let you guys know that we have options. Stop believing that we're in trouble if Trump isn't here. Stop believing, listen, Trump could have stood up and took those machines weeks ago, right? We gave him orders to do it. He did not do it. So I'm not mad at him. But he went as far as he was willing to go. Now, is he doing something else still? Maybe or maybe not. I don't know. I don't really care. What I care about is that we the people know that we have options. We the people know how to stand and fight. We the people know how to go after what we need to go after. And if we know that, then we can stand and be free and we can do more than we've ever done in history. But if we let these people make us believe that the person who's in the corporate United States hanging off the edge all the way over there in DC controls everything in the States, that's a bunch of bull, a bunch of craziness, and it will cause us to have fear. And the Bible tells us that the fear of man is a snare. You want to get caught up in a lot of trouble, you want to fail, you want to have a lot of issues, fear man. You want to be free, you want to follow God, you want to have freedom and do what you want to do and excel. Trust God and use what he gives you. Now, the thing is, when David beat Goliath, he went and picked up 5 smooth stones, only threw one, and defeated the giant. David wasn't sitting up there trusting the swords of men that called themselves stronger than him, the armor of men that called themselves stronger than him. He wasn't trusting in the fact that the other guy across the way was way bigger than him, a giant bigger than all the men of Israel. He didn't care about that. He stepped in and decided to do what was right. That's right. You're not in the state. So we have to look and use our power and our strength. Now, guys, we can repudiate. There's also a whole bunch of new laws that David Straight told me are in one of the new public laws. I think it's Public Law 11692, I believe. I'll look it up and get it to you guys. But let me know if you guys all want to stand and be free and use our powers. Like I said, we've already received a ton of kids back over the last 2 years, and we did not have Trump release the kids. Fine. We've already seen people get off of CSC, right? And that was done by the people using the law and standing up on the truth. We've seen that already, right? We've seen people stop foreclosures. We've seen people do other things. We've seen people move into the private. We've seen people get on the DND. We've seen people do all these things. So we've seen 100 into the private and they're not getting harassed, and they're functioning during COVID. So let's not worry about who is in and who is out or whatever. Let's stand on the law that God has given us. Let me know if you want me to do more videos. Also, guys, I am getting ready, if the Lord wills, to buy a app today that allows me to make my own platform for us, right? And what I'm going to do is, if the Lord wills, we're going to make the platform for us and we're going to put it on blockchain technology so it can't be removed. We're not going to have this situation anymore where some stupid idiots try to stop us from standing. Now, I am going to try to make my videos shorter. I'm going to try to do anywhere between 5 to 15-minute videos with tons of information, where we can stand up. I'll show you guys different things like injunctions that remove you away from the power of the corporate government to rule over you. I'll show you guys different things with trust. Some clowns talking about they want to come after people and interfere with you. I'll show you guys how to stand outside of their jurisdiction so that you ain't got to worry about anything they try to do. It's a bunch of bull. Right? And I'm laughing because I really understand, right? So, they want to get Trump supporters, you know, I'm like, screw all that. And I'm going to tell you guys one other thing. You guys can see on my Facebook, where and Twitter, when I think I was on Twitter then, definitely on the Facebook though. I told you guys when Trump was saying, "Hey, everybody, come down to DC." I got offered free tickets to go to DC. All I had to do is pay for a hotel, which I saw them trying to stop people from being able to get into hotels. You could clearly see it was going to be a setup. But I looked at what happened in Tennessee, and I believe that it might be true because there was um, airspace that was killed, and then they shot. Some people said it looked like a missile hit. Well, if somebody can clear airspace, then I don't believe it was an RV that caused that damage. It might have been a missile. And the thing is, if Trump was not in control of the military where somebody could shoot a missile, and we all saw what happened on 9/11, you can play if you want to. I really don't play a whole lot. I don't deal with conspiracy theory. I deal with facts. And I can clearly see Building 7 fall without any airplane hitting it. So I understand that something nefarious happened. I could also see 3D and the use of motion movie program or some similar program when an airplane's wing goes behind a building when it's flying in front of the building. That lets you know that some bull happened. I'm not one of these people who get shamed into not telling the truth. I'm gonna stand on what the truth is, and it is what it is. The government helped, the media helped in 9/11. Period. I don't give a freak what you say. I don't care about you wanting to argue. If you want to argue, show me how Building 7 fell with no airplane hitting it 500 feet down the road, with no crazy fires, no immense heat. Don't give me that bull. But if you want to try, you can try. But I know that things happen that people will never tell us about. And I can see that in Tennessee, it seems like something else happened that they didn't tell us about. So if Trump didn't have control of Tennessee, then I told people, I said, I'm not going to DC because if Trump can't control missiles in Tennessee, he can't control missiles or anything else in DC. And then quickly I saw that uh, the DC mayor and other people started shutting down businesses and let people know you're not welcome down here. Which means if the mayor who's under the level of Trump says you're not welcome and people can't come, and then they're playing, then apparently he's not in control, and it's not smart to go down there. Just like somebody asked me, hey, why don't you go down to the Capitol in Arizona? I'm like, man, you sound crazy, right? That won't happen, right? I'm not going to waste my time being set up by clowns when you can clearly see what they're trying to do. What we have to do, guys, is speak to these people and ask them questions and get them to stand on the law or not in front of everybody, which causes for the truth to come out. And if they don't want to answer the truth, it's going to become obvious to people. That's how you guys have been winning against the World Health Organization with the vaccines. They actually had to come out and say, don't call them conspiracy theorists anymore. Don't try to punish them. People are coming to them 500 to 1. Now, my battery is getting ready to die. But, guys, you have already been winning and taken over by your hard work. It is not Trump that made that happen for you. It is the individual fight that God has put in you. Trump got his power and his status because you gave him a platform to say what you guys were already saying. Trump is like y'all, you know? And so you guys have put it out there that these vaccines were dangerous. You guys start talking about fake media first. Then Trump started saying it. So you guys created a platform where the truth can be told. And even for me, I always say, as big as my platform has gotten, I say, thank you guys for letting me have a platform to speak, because without you guys ready to hear the truth and standing on the truth, I can't say nothing. Right? So understand your power and who you are, and realize that this ain't Trump that freaking did all this. It's you guys along with Trump that did this stuff. So understand your power and realize that just because Trump ain't here today or for 30 days or 2 months, 3 months, a year, 4 years, whatever, it ain't got nothing to do with what you have the power to do. And do not let all that God has given you and all the pain and heartache that you have went through and the sadness, all that power that you gained from that, be removed from you. Oh, he won. He won the election altogether. He won. They cheated, you know. But we got to be wise. We understand that they cheated, so let's keep standing. Let's keep pushing for these audits. And remember that fraud vitiates everything, right? So stand and push, continue to win, continue to be strong. I thank you guys. I love you guys all. Let me know if you want me to do videos, short videos on what to do. If you want to be part of the platform that I'm going to do, that's going to be blockchain technology and an app that we can be free and talk. We can associate with each other. We can all be part of the same PMAs where they can't force us to do anything. We can remove ourselves from United States jurisdiction. Let me know if you guys want to do all that. Let me know if you guys are still game to fight, game to stand, game to be tough, and game to trust in God. All right. I will catch you guys later. Y'all be cool, stay out of trouble, and I'm going to say peace. It's going to take me a second to get this thing turned off, because I always get this problem where the screen pops up and then I can't get it to leave. Hold on, guys. There we go. All right, I'll catch y'all later.